Welcome to the family. We are so thrilled to have you. I gotta be honest, I've watched a ton of interviews. I read your book. It's amazing. I am captivated by your strength. And you have this strength when it comes to faith, the strength that comes from your family, the strength that's led you from failure to just absolute dominance in Rio, and just a lot of strength to do a lot of risky things that we'll get to. But let's just begin with your faith story. Talk about your relationship with God, with Christ, and share that with our family.
It's a very important part of my family and our lives. We go to church every Sunday when I'm in town. If not, we'll light candles. That's like our tradition. Every time after our service, we go light a candle, pray for the week to come, anything that's been bothering us or praying for other people. So it's really great. I've been going since I was super young, since I moved down to Texas, gone to all my faith formation classes and done the whole thing.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, I want to look at a couple of pictures. This next picture, you with your dad, your mom, your sister, and I remember reading about something your dad said to you that you actually saw him cry.
Yes.
Talk about what he told you.
Yes. He told me one day in the kitchen, God gave you this talent, don't waste it, because once he gives it to you, there's only so much you can do with it, and I can't be a gymnast forever. So I wasn't doing too well in the gym and wasn't using my talent for the better. So he was like screaming at me. He got super emotional. He was like, God gave you this talent, don't waste it. And he walked away crying. And I was mortified. I had no idea what to do. I just sat in the kitchen and I was like, I'm not wasting it.
And then did you go, hey, Dad, 4 gold medals, didn't waste it?
Not yet, but I always kept it in the back of my mind.
Now, you have the utmost respect for your mom.
Yes.
Can you just talk about why she matters so much to you?
Yeah, she matters so much to me because she's like the queen of the family. Everyone goes to her or my dad, but everyone knows she's queen. Like we call her Mama Biles. She's the best. And me and my sister aspire to be just like her, half the woman she is whenever we're older. We can go to her for absolutely anything. And like my favorite part is whenever my dad gets really mad at me and he's like, oh, you're being just like your mother. So I feel like I'm doing a good job.
Yes!
Yes.
And your sister,
Yes.
I've been watching like some of her videos on YouTube. She's hilarious. Just talk about your relationship with her. I did a little Instagram stalking in this next picture, snagged this, but just you two are so adorable.
Yes.
So just talk about your relationship.
I guess over the years we've gotten closer because I've been traveling so much and she misses me, and so we're always texting each other funny things. I can go to her for anything, even whenever I was younger in foster care. Even though she was only 1 and I was 3, I was like, I had to be a mom at 3 years old. So I would like drag her all over the place with me, tell her what to do, boss her around. And once we moved to Texas, my grandma, who is now my mom, she was like, you know, I can take over this role. And I was like, excuse me? Because I was just 3 years old, because she was like my little daughter. But my sister's the best thing that's ever happened.
Now, you talk about the foster care and the adoption. Yes. There might be some people who don't know that story. Do you mind sharing that with us?
Yes. So growing up, my biological mom struggled with drug and alcohol abuse. So we got taken from her and we got transferred to a foster home, and we were there for a while. And then my grandparents came and rescued us, adopted us, and then we moved to Texas to start our new family and have a good life.
I remember reading about how when you were adopted, you were upstairs in a mirror practicing the titles of mom and dad.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes, so whenever we came down to live with them, we had always known them as Grandma and Grandpa. At the time, I couldn't say my R's, so it was like Gamma, Grandpa, and they were like, what is this child saying? But that's what I always called them. One day, they brought me and my sister downstairs, sat us down. They're like, you know, we adopted you guys. If you want, you can call us Mom and Dad. And so I was like, okay. So I went upstairs and I was practicing Mom, Dad, Mom, Dad. And then I went downstairs. My mom was in the kitchen. and I saw her, and I like peeked around the corner, and I said, Mom? She goes, yes, and I ran away.
Okay, let's go to this next picture. This is you in Tokyo. You were handed flowers, but for some apparent reason you threw them. What happened here?
Yes, so that morning I was like, I've not seen one living thing like flying or any bugs, and which to me that's kind of nice because I don't like bugs at all. And then that night I won gold, got on the podium, and Larissa, she's from Romania, she got second place. She said, Simone, bee, flowers. And I was like, what? And then I looked down, and I was trying to be as respectful as possible. And so I tried to shake the bee off, and it like wouldn't come off. So then it started flying at me, and I threw the flowers. I lost my cool and started running around the podium like a crazy person because this bee was chasing me.
It's on YouTube. Watch it. It's so adorable. It is unbelievable. And you can still see the bee right there. There it is.
There were like bees in the pictures, and my mom called me afterwards. I had drug testing. She's like, what were you doing? That was so embarrassing. I was like, Mom, I promise there were bees everywhere.
Okay, in this next picture, you're upside down.
Yes.
I like to not be upside down.
Yes.
What are you thinking right here?
I'm concentrating on the skill that I'm doing because I think I had another flip after that one.
Of course, yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So you just concentrate on your routine, and it kind of comes autopilot because we've done it so many times. But sometimes there are bad thoughts, like what could happen if I like straddle this beam, fall off, but mostly positive.
Well, and the beam, I mean, it's probably like 4 feet, right? So, I mean, you've got a lot of space to stand on.
It's 4 inches, but I wish it were bigger.
So you're flipping onto 4 inches.
Yes.
That does not sound like fun.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
But there's skill, but there is this mental preparation, concentration.
Yes.
How do you train your brain to be able to master an event like this?
Yes. Sometimes we do pressure sets. And just like in Rio, we would do the same lineup we would do in competition, and we would all have to hit. So once the first person hits, it kind of sets the pace, and you feel pretty confident. So by that time, it was pretty easy, but we do mental sets on the side as well while we're sitting down. We go through our beam routines in our head so that once we salute and get up on the equipment, we know our routine, and like we'll be safe, we'll be fine. And I also go see a sports psychologist to help me get in the zone, and so I don't like freak out about anything.
That's awesome. Now let's look at this next picture. You're climbing a rope, like you do, and in your gym, you have this 35-foot kind of ceiling with this big rope, and I've seen videos of you just climbing up, climbing down, climbing up, climbing down. Why do you do it?
I ask myself that too sometimes, but it's for strength. It builds our abs, our core, helps your hand gripping bars too. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of kids think it's fun until you get older, and it's like a punishment.
So you just put your body and you just climb up. There's nothing else you add to it at all?
Sometimes we add a 10-pound weight belt.
Where do you have that?
Around our waist. So that once we take it off, it makes climbing easier and we go faster.
I'm carrying a 10-pound around my waist too. Wow. Okay, let's go to the next picture. Oh, this is a big question that I have. Yes. You start a routine in this salute stance, and you finish a routine in this. And sometimes when you finish, after doing all of the stuff you do, you land with such composure.
Thank you.
Don't you just want to be like, yes, I just did that?
Yes, but sometimes how big you salute, it says in itself. But I meant there were times at Rio, like I nailed a beam set and I just ran off the mat and I was like, yes! And I was like, oh man, Simone, what are you doing? I like lost control of myself.
Now, in any other time of your day, when you say the right thing, when you accomplish a task that's difficult, do you just do the salute?
I meant, no, it's more of a gymnastics thing. I try to keep it in the gym.
I think after my next sermon, I just want to end and go. I just love it. It's fantastic.
You should do it.
I should do it. All right, next picture. This is you getting the gold in Rio. What did that feel like when they handed you this gold? Because backstory, most people start gymnastics right when they can walk, and you started at age 6.
Yes.
So 13 years later, you're winning gold.
Yes.
Most people have spent 19 years training. You only 13. Thanks, overachiever. You're awesome. But what did that feel like to get the gold?
It's a feeling I can't even describe or correctly put into words because you're kind of blown away by yourself, and I wish I could step out of my body and see it, because being in it, it's like unbelievable. But it's a pretty exciting moment because you've worked your whole entire life for that. So once it's like official and it's around your neck, you're like, wow, it all paid off, it all worked, and you just have so much pride for the U.S. because out of 5 girls, I was one of the selected.
That's amazing. You make it look so easy. Have you ever failed?
Yes, I have. In 2011, I missed national team by 1 placement.
What did that feel like?
I felt like I had failed. I had let people down, my gym, everyone who had helped me get there. But it actually set me up for the better, because without that failure, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. So I went to the gym, I worked harder, I started homeschooling to put in more hours. And I believe there's a good timing for every moment.
It's amazing. Now, growing up, people are always trying to kind of label you, and even during Rio, they were. I want to talk about this in twofold. One is they would see you as petite, and then they would talk about your muscles, like you have manly arms as a kid.
Yes.
And you write about this. And I think in a culture where there's so much body shaming, talk about how you learned to be comfortable in your own skin.
I've learned over the years, because whenever I was younger, going to school, I used to wear like a lot of like strapless shirts and all that stuff, and then boys started just, let's arm wrestle, let's do this, let's play this, and I was like, I'm like a girl, like yes, I can play with that, but I don't want to. So they saw my muscles as something like intimidating, so they would sometimes make fun of me. So then I started wearing jackets, and I never showed off my arms. And like still to this day, people are like, you're too muscular, but I'm like, yes, I get that, but without it, could I have won the medals that I did? So to me, it's a blessing, and I love my body.
My favorite line from Rio was in an interview that you gave, and someone was like, she's the next Michael Phelps. She's the next Usain Bolt. And then your response was, no, I'm the first Simone Biles.
Yes.
I was like, where did that come from?
Well, everyone says you're the next, but I feel like everyone should want to be the first, because they always compare you to someone. But to me, I'm me, and I want to make like a landmark for myself. So they kept saying, but you're the next Usain, and I'm like, well, we aren't even in the same sports, or we do different things. And so I'm like, no, I'm the first Simone Biles.
Love it. All right. So Wednesday, a little announcement was made on Good Morning America about you joining Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
And you being homeschooled, did you go to homecoming or prom dances?
No, I've never been to a school dance in my life. So Sasha was the first boy that I danced with.
Wow. Okay, so you're about to start this. You've never been through like dance training because everything's been gymnastics.
Yes.
So this is all new to you.
All new.
Are you nervous?
A little bit, because like even the other day we had to be super close, and he's like, put your nose on my nose, and I was like, I don't want to look at you. He's like, you don't want to look at me. I'm like, no. He was like, well, we're gonna have to do it anyways. But it's a lot of fun. I've had fun. But I'm a little nervous. We're looking for a team name, so if you guys think of anything, just tweet it at me.
Oh.
We have no idea.
That's a good. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
We'll take that assignment on.
Thank you.
Backstage, she's practicing all of her moves, and I was like, do you just move all the time? She's like, I gotta learn my dance steps.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, I'm gonna go to Twitter. And this comes from Maddie Melbourne, and she asks, how does your body feel after 35 hours of training per week?
Feels like this. Feels stuck. But I do a lot of therapy. I go get massages, do Epsom salt baths. I have like Normatec boots that is like kind of like squeezes your legs to death with like pressure, but it feels good.
It's like skinny jeans?
Kind
of, okay.
But sometimes I'm like crawling. Like I can't. I'm so sore. Like even after the first day of dance, since I haven't worked out, Sasha left the room and they were like, can you go get him? And I was in my heels. I started crawling, all fours, like a baby.
Well, hey, today we are talking about how to inspire everyone always.
Yes.
And I was wondering, just for our final question, could you talk about someone who has inspired you?
My mom inspires me a lot, and I think that's why I'm the young woman I am today, because she's been my role model all throughout my life, so I love her to death.
That is awesome. Willow Creek, can we give it up for Simone Biles?